Hi, welcome to the Schenectady Local Business Showcase. I'm your host, Shelley Hamill, and we'll be interviewing and visiting with local business owners in Schenectady County to let them know what business is like in Schenectady County. Today my guests are Lance Zintar and Mike Casey from Zaria and Bella's on J Street. Welcome, Lance and Mike. How are you today?
Wonderful.
Thanks for having us.
My pleasure, and I thank you for coming on. Now, Zaria and Bella's, I hear that you have had a significant event recently.
It was our re-grand opening.
Yep, we had a re-grand opening. We just celebrated our 1-year anniversary on J Street, and we also moved to a larger location about a month and a half ago.
That's fantastic. Now, I should have you tell our audience what Zaria and Bella's is.
It's actually after our dogs. They were both rescued dogs. I did vet science for the last 5 years out in the Finger Lakes, and both were supposed to be euthanized at that time, but we rescued them, and when we opened up the shop, we thought it would be a cute name to have it, so we shortened it to Zaria and Bella's.
So, what kind of a shop do you have?
The gift shop is whimsical collectibles. We started off as a collectibles figurines, and then we're kind of gradually switching it to a more American, more certified organic soap lines, stuff like that. More everyday useful items.
So it's the kind of things that you can't find in every other store in town.
Correct. We go out of our way to make sure that what we carry is not easily found, or if it is, then we make sure that our prices at least match where you might find it elsewhere.
I know the very first time I was in your store, this little guy here caught my eye. He's our little prosperity frog, and I named him Verdi Dorso, and I pet him every day, and he has brought me enormous amounts of prosperity ever since. And that's what got me into your shop.
I remember.
Yes, that was a fun day. Of course, I've been in several times since, because you have so many great things that I just can go in there and look and look and look and look and find 17 things that I want that are on my wish list. But what I wonder was how you go about sourcing some of your items. I mean, where do you find things that...
We do go to trade shows throughout the year. We actually have another one coming up in January that we'll be attending down in New York. In the past, we've both worked for small boutique shops before, such as the one that we own now. So we knew some of the product line before opening the stores, but we're going to some more of the shows now to try to find a lot more of the U.S. made products, and try to find other whimsical things that you don't find at stores around here.
I find that so important. I always try to look for USA made items, and it's become a bit easier than it was maybe even 5 or so years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I always am grateful for that myself, and I'm sure the people who make the things in the USA, which we should all be supporting, editorial comment there. But I should ask you, you both mentioned having backgrounds in retail in boutique type stores, and were you ever in a store, managing a store together, or before? Is this your first venture as a team?
This is our first store we've done together, yes. We've both been in management, both in and out of retail before. We both have business degrees, but this is our first joint venture.
And obviously it's working out well, because it's the 5-year mark for businesses going under, but in your first year you've managed to expand.
Well, we started out of our attic, and we started in 2011, July, out of our attic. From the attic, we went to the small store on J Street, which was an alleyway type of retail store.
Oh, I remember that. I was always afraid that my hips wouldn't make it down that alley, or like knock something off the wall.
And then from there, we were able to expand to the location that we have now, which is Kitty Corner from the Tattoo and Open Book store, which is wider and longer. And we were able now to do what we really wanted, which was to expand from the figurines and collectibles to the everyday American soap line, purses and lunch bags, insulated lunch bags. We carry stuff like that now.
Yes, well, you know, I'm drooling over that turquoise lunch bag. I was hoping that you would bring it today so I could. That's number one on my wish list. So, but you two aren't from the area, are you?
Not originally.
Not originally.
We both have lived out in the Finger Lakes for the last 12 years.
Mhm.
And then basically a family incident brought us down to Schenectady.
Well, Schenectady is very glad, not that you had a family incident, but we're glad that you are here. And what made you specifically think of downtown Schenectady?
Downtown Schenectady, if anyone's ever gone to Ithaca, New York, they know the Commons, which is it's fun. It's exciting. It's got a lot of restaurants and places, and it's got the cobble walkways, and it's always full, and things are going. College students are having fun. People with their children are having fun. So J Street has that potential, and that's what we see in J Street. And that's what we've been working with the community, trying to get everybody on the same page as we are, and just kind of raise it up to that level. So.
Excellent. I know J Street is always my favorite place to poke around in. And tell me what made you decide to go into retail at all, especially with the business climate that it's been the last 5 years or so.
Might not have been the smartest time to do it, but we chose retail mainly because, again, we both have backgrounds in the retail industry, and we got to a point where we just didn't want to work for other people anymore. So we decided, just, you know what, we sold our house in Geneva, and we had a lump sum of money from selling the house, and we're like, well, we can either put it in an account and sit on it, or we can open up this business that we've talked about for years, but we never had the means to do. So we said, you know what, let's just go all in and let's just do it.
So this was your dream.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was it your dream when you were itty bitty little boys?
I don't know about that far, but
Well, and when I graduated high school, I went to Bryan and Stratton and got a business entrepreneurship degree, and I always sat there, and my business plan was a gift shop / bookstore. So I always wanted to have that. Now, true, I don't have the bookshop part of that whole thing, but it's definitely worked out best for us this way. So it's definitely been a little bit in my head for quite a while. I mean, and Mike has talked about it for quite a while. So when we both had that opportunity, it was, well, like you said, like Mike said, do we sit on the money or frivolously spend it, just on stuff, or do we actually invest in our own future, which, in this case, I think it was smarter to do. It might be a little risky due to the fact that we are in a recession, but, we have faith that it's...
a lot of big name companies have started in the process of a recession. So,
That's true.
back in the 20s, a lot of these big name corporations that are out there now started. So,
That's what, of course, I have a business degree myself, and that's one of the examples we always use. In the Depression is when many of the humongous corporations now originally started on shoestrings.
Yep.
So, who knows, 20 years from now, when we're looking at, instead of the Harry and David catalog, we're looking at the Zaria and Bella catalog.
that would be nice. I'd be happy with that.
Well, what vision do you have for the business?
We're going to work with the space we have right now. I'd like to triple our inventory, get more of a following. Our following is actually doing pretty well. Get our online going a little bit better. We do offer online international shipping and everything like that, so we're not limited just to Schenectady and Albany proper.
So you have a global outreach at this point,
At
too.
some point, we'd like to get to a larger site where we actually can have a full retail center downstairs and possibly live or have an office above. So.
But you're still looking at continuing a brick and mortar.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, always.
But
Always.
I'd say from this one, we moved to a freestanding building.
Oh,
So we have our own parking lot and everything else.
Oh, parking lot. And you want to keep that in Schenectady?
If we can.
Yes.
I see a lot of hope for Schenectady. It has a bad rep, so in the past, and a lot of people still have this perception of Schenectady as being a bad location, and it's not like that anymore. And we both work with the community a lot to try to bring awareness to Schenectady, to show people that it's not the same as it used to be. There's a lot of stores down here. There's a lot of new restaurants that are coming in, and it's safe down here, to walk around and shop and eat and everything else.
Well, I've always thought so. Now, you've been in Schenectady itself, though, how many years now?
A little over a year, 2 years, almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
Oh, so you really weren't here back in the
Right.
day.
Well,
Okay.
Lance was.
I
Lance
rem-
grew up here.
I remember what it was like to be down here as a kid, and I always joke with people that I would never have come down here when I was a kid. It was dangerous at that point. I totally admit to that. That perception, as Mike said, though, is false now. There's no reason not to come down to Schenectady. Schenectady downtown has everything that you could possibly want to find either in a mall or any other place. So you don't need to have those quote-unquote supposedly safe areas, because I think the Allentown Schenectady has all of that opportunity and actually more. So.
Well, I agree with you. I myself, as a single woman by herself, I never worry about walking around downtown by myself. And it amazes me that people will say, "Oh, you go downtown by yourself?" I'm like, of course. Of course, I lived in New York City, so I mean this. But I agree with you. There's still, for some people, are thinking about what Schenectady was like in the early 90s as opposed to what it is today. It's been so transformed in the last decade, and it really is a destination now downtown. Entertainment, shops like yours that you can't find in a mall. I don't want to say the bad M word, 'cause I don't like going to the malls at all. So what else do you see in the future of downtown?
For downtown in whole?
Yeah.
At this point, I'm not really sure, because you have a lot of new places coming in, like Johnny's on the corner of J Street and State. You have Bel Cebo's, that is the little fine foods place restaurant that just came in.
Love them, yes.
You have Open Bookstore, which is always going to be
Oh,
a landmark,
Open Book, yes.
and we're hoping that she stays. So I mean, her clientele has been extremely gracious toward us and has come to visit us, and we kind of everybody on the street offsets each other. So I think downtown Schenectady is improving. I mean, Chuck Schumer was just down here promoting it the other day. So, if people work together and everybody gets on the same boat, I think downtown Schenectady can be way above where it is right now. But then again, if people don't work together, then it can't keep going up. So.
Now, are you a member of any of the merchant associations or Chamber of Commerce or any like-minded entrepreneurs?
We were on the J Street Merchant Association, which basically was for J Street to get everything correlated together. There's a retail committee in downtown Schenectady, which I've been somewhat involved with. We're more involved with the more volunteer
We work together
work.
with the Downtown Schenectady Improvement Corporation, on a weekly basis.
Yep. Outside of that, we're doing more of the Human Rights Commission. I volunteer with them. I actually just started volunteering with them, I should say. Or the CAB board, which is basically for people who have committed crimes to kind of help get their lives fixed up. So we try to do a lot of volunteer work that way. And then we actually set up Schenectady Pride the first time for the gay and lesbians and transgender community to kind of that downtown Schenectady doesn't discriminate, and that it's actually safe, and that there's people down there that aren't going to hurt you or anything like that.
Right.
So we're trying to bring the whole community together and not just exclude one or two here, but everybody.
So you're really reaching out to the community and the business community and your customers. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about your business in general? Anything else we should know?
No.
Okay.
It's tough. It's tough and it's slow going, but I mean, I'm so happy that we decided to do it, and I'm so glad that we chose Schenectady to do it in.
Great. Now, what would you consider your biggest challenge has been so far?
I'd say our biggest challenge would be advertising. We're such a small company, and we don't have the advertising budget that some of these large big box stores have, and there's no way we can compete with that. So a lot of our advertising is done word of mouth or social media, and that has been fantastic for us. Word of mouth advertising we have gotten so many more customers that way. So, but it's still tough though with not having the budget. And we also have the online store, but look at all the people you're competing with online.
True.
And if you want to spend money on certain advertising that way, that costs a lot of money as well.
Right.
Yes.
I would say the only other thing I have to add to that is when you're going to American-made products, it costs a lot more to buy on my end, which means I do have to raise the prices. And we kind of make the joke that people want American-made, but they want the Chinese prices.
Well, yes, that's absolutely
And-
true. Isn't it?
And once in a while, I get a great customer that truly understands that this can't happen. As one person said the other day, we have a living wage in America. That's why it costs more. So that's a challenge in itself. So
Yes, and if we were all buying American-made so American workers would have jobs, we would be able to afford all the American-made goods.
And-
Editorial comment there.
And the prices would probably go down a little
Yes,
bit.
exactly, and then the prices come down. Simple economics, folks.
actually, one of the things we do is, and we try to get people to understand this, is if you spend $1 in our store, we're going to take 40 to 50% of that dollar, and we're going to actually put it toward an American-made product. So yeah, you might be buying something from another country in our store right now, but as long as you love it, that's great. You should also know though that we're taking that money and we're rolling it back into an American-made product. So it's not all. We're not just all about trying to make $1 and then that's it. So
And I think that's what's going to help your business survive.
Kind of sets us apart from
Yes.
other companies.
Yes, absolutely. Fantastic. Well, these are all good things to know. Now, is there a particular division of labor between the two of you with all this going on? Internet sales, advertising, having to open up a brick and mortar store every day?
Michael runs the online. When it comes to the setup of the website and everything like that, that's him. He takes care of the Facebook, social media aspect of that. I'm a hands-off approach on that. When it comes to the actual store, I take care. I do with more of the financial, legal aspects of things to make sure that's all in line.
And you do a lot of advertising and
Right.
stuff as well.
Right. I try to find all that free stuff, which there's actually a lot of free stuff out there for small business. You just got to be willing to look and put the hours in. So.
Oh, good. Maybe you could tell us all about that another time. I'm sure our viewers would love to know all about free advertising.
We love anything free.
Yeah.
Well, don't we all? Don't we
As a
all?
small business, you have to. So.
True. Well, anybody loves free,
That's true.
but certainly as a small business. But I think that's what it is. Instead of, if you had a ton of money behind you, you wouldn't think things through about what would make your business better because you just throw money at it. Not having a lot of money means you have to think about things and see how every decision you make manifests itself on your bottom line.
Exactly.
So you're better off not having any money. That's what I tell myself every day. So you're better off not having any money. Then you learn how to recycle everything in the house.
It's a great way to start.
That's right, a great way to start. Well, I'm so happy that Lance and Mike, you could join me today. Thank you for telling us all about your store, and keep that turquoise lunchbox over there on my wish list. And we'll be seeing you soon. And thank you for coming to
Thank
Local
you.
Business Showcase.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, I want to thank Mike and Lance for being here with us. And now don't go away because we've got another guest coming right up. Well, thanks for returning to your Local Business Showcase. Now we have Kim Belisi, who's here from Invisible Fence, the Tri-Cities, to tell us all about invisible fences and animal containment. Welcome, Kim.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad you're here. Now, this is a whole new concept for me. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what invisible fence is?
Okay, invisible fence is an alternative to a physical fence. You use a wire, and the wire is placed in the ground, and that gives off a type of a magnetic field that will contain your pet within the boundary of that wire.
So you're telling me, so the pet stays in the yard without
Yes.
having the fence there?
Exactly. Wherever you put the wire, and it's a continuous loop, so it has to be connected from one end to the next, making a continuous loop. And within that loop, your dog will be safely protected outside, playing freely, having a great time. And all you need is the collar with the receiver on it, and you're set to go.
Well, that sounds great. I mean, you're not obstructing your view with any kind of physical fence. So
Exactly.
you still have this wide open yard.
Exactly.
But doggy can't go outside of it. That's what I'm gathering, right?
That's correct.
Oh.
The dog cannot go outside of it, and you are correct that there's no physical boundary, nothing there obscuring your views. It works also very well in small yards. We have a Boundary Plus system designed specifically for small backyards. So, and it can be customized. You know, some people don't want their dogs to have access to a pool area or landscaping, so it's totally customizable.
Wow, this sounds like great for, I know where my father lives, it's very specific about how far the fence has to be away from a structure and how far away it has to be from the next person's yard. And there are several people there who now can't put up a fence because
Oh, yeah.
because it's an old neighborhood.
Yes.
So this would work well within that. It sounds like.
Absolutely. They're getting more stringent in different communities as to exactly what type of fencing and if fencing can be used at all. Something else that a lot of people don't understand with invisible fence is that it's used indoors as well. There may be a whole room that you want roped off. So instead of all those annoying baby gates that people may have up sometimes, you got to climb over them and whatnot, you can have the invisible fence put indoors, or you can use a shield, which looks like a little hockey puck, that can be tucked under a couch or behind a garbage can or a kitty litter box, and it will keep the dog, or actually it's good for cats as well, away from that area.
Okay, now this is getting more and more interesting. So as long as whatever has this around its neck.
Correct, it's the receiver.
So in other words, if you didn't want your husband in your own private room, if you could do that too.
Well,
Okay,
it's not patented for that yet, Shelley.
Okay, well, I'm liking this better and better. But tell me now, how did you get into this business?
Well, it's very interesting. We moved into a new house in Galway, and we have 3 acres, and definitely could not afford a physical fence on 3 acres.
That's a big amount of property.
Exactly, but I have 3 big dogs, and so we called the Invisible Fence Company, and they came out and gave me an estimate, and we had the invisible fence put in, and within 2 weeks, I had 3 dogs outside romping around, having a great time without me having to be there, bundled up in the snow, and they just ran free. They weren't able to get out of the yard, and it was just beautiful. So I looked into it, and they happened to have a dealership available in the tri-state area, tri-cities area, and here I am.
So this all came about because you yourself were a customer and you liked the product so much that you decided to be a
Yes.
distributor for it yourself.
Yeah, I love the product. It's safe. It's easy to work with, and like I said, within 2 weeks the dogs were trained. You didn't have to worry about anything, and you can have your dogs. A lot of people also with the invisible fence, and if your dogs don't get enough exercise, they start to have behaviors, whether it's digging or destroying things inside the house. One of my dogs had separation anxiety. A lot of his issues have dissipated since he's now able to run free on 3 acres.
Oh, well, and it's great for you. You can open the back door.
Let him out.
And you don't have to go out in the snow
Nope.
and put him on a leash.
Nope, sit
Of course,
there
you
with
don't
my
get the
robe.
exercise, though. but
Yeah,
the dog
well,
does.
we still go for walks, and I still am a proponent of walking your dog, even if you have an invisible fence. It's totally 2 different types of exercise, but good to bring up.
Me, it's like, all right, Fido.
Yeah.
outside.
But you can opt not to on those snowy days. You can stand by your window with your cup of coffee and your robe on, and your dogs are out there having a great time.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
So, did you have any kind of business background, or what is your background, work-wise, that led you to this?
Well, I wanted to be a veterinarian since I was yay high, and I went to school to be a veterinarian and actually got a degree in animal science. I worked in pharmaceutical sales for veterinary pharmaceutical sales right out of college, became a science teacher. Then I went and moved to New York State. Couldn't find a job teaching, so I said, what am I going to do? Worked for a veterinary clinic, and most recently an animal shelter, a local animal shelter, as a volunteer coordinator, working with dogs. Imagine that. And training people to be able to train our rescue dogs so that they could get adopted more readily.
Oh, rescue dog.
Yeah, and I've had a menagerie of animals my entire life. I've had dogs. I don't think there's been a year of my life that I have not had a dog in my home.
So this seems like it's a natural outgrow of your background.
Yes, and I love it. It's a passion of mine. I love animals, and I work with animal shelters now to get rescue dogs adopted as well, and to try to help out with their fencing needs. so that they can move out of the shelters easily. But the whole animal industry has just been a love of mine since I was a child.
So you followed your passion
I did.
essentially, and just this is how it
Yes.
manifested
Yeah.
itself.
And I love it. I feel empowered to have my own business. I can't tell you how fortunate and lucky I feel to be able to be in control of my own life at this point.
Well, that's what being an entrepreneur is all about, being in control
Absolutely.
of your own life.
Yes.
And now, how long? It's been just a short period of time that you've been doing
It's
this.
been about 6 months, and I've been doing every aspect of the business, from the installs to the service calls to booking appointments to marketing. I have 2 people that I met at the animal shelter that both work for me, an installer and a marketing person, and the 3 of us are the team, and I just love every aspect of it. My favorite part, though, really is being out in the field and meeting people and their pets.
Oh,
So doing the training, and people just love their animals, so it's a win-win.
that's true.
Yeah.
I know. This is my animal right now,
Is your-
my little Verdi Dorso, because my kitty went to kitty heaven. But,
Oh, we'll have
yeah.
to get you to a rescue to look at all the kitties that need homes.
oh, I want one so badly, but I can't have one
Yeah.
where I live.
Oh.
It makes me cry.
You can come
But-
visit my house.
Yes, but you have doggies.
And a cat.
Oh, a kitty.
I
too.
do have a kitty too. Yes,
Nice.
yes, and the invisible fence works with cats as well.
Oh, see, that would have been great for keeping
See?
my cat away from my computer.
You know, to keep us
But,
in mind.
Yes, I shall.
Yeah.
But I want a little bit more about the way. So you must have what, an office in your home, or do you have a standalone
Yep,
office?
I have an office in my home right now. We're looking to have a storefront next year,
Oh,
because there are people that want their receivers checked and batteries checked, or to pick up items. We also sell a lot of things on our e-store, toys and treats, a whole line of collars and leashes. So yes, a storefront is, in the future we will have a storefront, but out of my home right now. And I do scheduling, I have all the inventory, everything from my home base.
Now, you have a lot of experience with animals in your background, but what
Yes.
about business specifically? What kind of business training have you gotten?
Not a lot. Not a lot, and I'm getting it quickly. So this is my first experience, really, with the business end of it, and it's exciting, it's scary, it's challenging, but I love it all because it's mine. So
Did you get any kind of formal training? Did you go take a seminar on entrepreneurship, or did you join a group of business people or anything like that?
well, I belong to a wonderful group of women, the Schenectady Business and Professional Women's Club, the BPW. I'm the first VP of this organization. I've been a member for about 4 years, so I've reached out to the women of this club for QuickBooks training. There's, of course, a lot of self-employed and business women in this club that I've reached out to mentor me, and they've been a wealth of knowledge. So I do look to taking some more classes and seminars to hone my skills, because obviously it's also something that you can never have enough information, in order to better your business. But I will be searching out those things. I've just been so busy since I've started this business, which is a good thing. But I will delve into the whole business end of it quickly.
Well, do you see, now at this point, since you're essentially a one-lady band, and you've got a vision of expanding soon,
Yes.
how the division of labor, or what that's going to be like?
Yes, I needed another installer and service person, definitely, because one person can only do so much. And I know come February, March, the phone will be ringing off the wall. So I will be looking for another person to do that. And bookkeeping, I will have to find somebody to help me with the paperwork, because it's just, it's up to the ceiling already. I keep saying I'm going to get to it, but I have not gotten to it yet, and I have to really get that under control.
So would you consider that one of the challenges?
Yes, oh yes. Not a numbers person, could never even balance my checkbook. Although online, a lot of the stuff that's online has made it a little bit easier. Actually, one of the members of the BPW helped me with QuickBooks. So I'm going to get what I need to in order now, but I will need help with that as well.
So,
Yeah, So a lot of
it's
work.
Learning experience.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Management end of it is also a learning experience, managing people.
But you have a background in that in managing volunteers.
The volunteers, yes, and it's a little different though because volunteers want to they want to be there, you know, and they're not getting paid, and they know they're not getting paid, and it's okay. So as long as you tell them you're doing a great job and thank you very much for being here every day that they walk through the door, they're happy. But I have to say though, the 2 employees that I do have now, I really love them. I love working with them, and they have the same love for animals and the passion for the Invisible Fence Company as I do. So it's been a pleasure so far.
And you find that important for personnel.
Absolutely, they have to have the same passion that we all do to work for my company, because it's not just about the money, it's about keeping the animals safe. And you are working with animals, and you have to have a love for animals to be able to do this correctly.
Yes, I would think so.
Yes.
I would think so. And you're located in Schenectady.
Yes, I'm in, well, right now, as far as my business or where I live, everything.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, the business is all over. I go everywhere from Fulton County out to Rensselaer, Schoharie, down to Upper Hudson. I have about 13 counties that are within my territory.
Oh, so you're far and wide.
All over the place, you know. I'm originally from New Jersey, and my installer's originally from Holland. So we're like on a road trip every time we go out there. We're seeing parts of New York that we have never ventured into, and it's just a beautiful state. There's a lot of property out there, a lot of gorgeous areas, and a lot of wonderful people that we've dealt with so far.
That is quite a big territory.
It's huge,
and
yeah.
very
it's nice.
diverse.
Yeah, yeah, it is diverse.
But you're headquartered here in Schenectady.
Headquartered here in the Schenectady area, absolutely, yeah.
And have you already been scouting locations for this storefront?
Yes, I'm actually looking like in the central Albany area. You know, I would like something centrally located so that people be about a half-hour drive for anyone to come and stop in the store and be able to visit us.
Okay. Well, is there anything else you should tell us about Invisible Fence?
Well, I have to tell you with the Invisible Fence brand, if you don't know anything about it, we are online. You can just look up the Invisible Fence, and you can type in your zip code, and or my website will come up. So there's a wealth of information on Invisible Fence online. You can do all your Christmas shopping online, so any treats or toys that you might be interested in. But the Invisible Fence Company has been around, I don't know if you know, for 40 years.
No, I had no idea.
We
I
just
wouldn't have thought the
Yep.
technology was that old.
40 years old this year. We just had our 40th birthday, and it's just been growing by leaps and bounds as to how many people. I think there's over 2 million people that have their animals that are safely secured now with an Invisible Fence. It's growing every single day. The technology, the newest technology that will be coming out probably within the next year is a GPS technology, where you won't even have to use a wire. Very, very interesting, where you just pinpoint spots on a property. And
Oh my
like,
heavens.
yeah, it's very interesting. It just came out in the last convention that I was just at a couple of weeks ago. So look for that on the websites and information on that, because that's going to be very cool.
Well, that does sound good,
Yes.
'cause it seems like it would be far less time to install something with that.
Oh yeah, they told us 15 minutes, and you can do it, you know, from my computer at home.
Oh,
So it should be very interesting as to how this works.
really home-based business.
It's a really home-based business, but you still have to go out and do all the training and meet everybody, and
Yes.
and that will never end, because I mean that's my favorite part. That can never end.
Well, I like meeting people too.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the Local Business Showcase today. We wish you all kinds of luck in your future endeavors.
Thank you very
And we
much.
hope you'll come back in maybe a year and tell us all about it.
I would love to.
All right.
Absolutely.
Great.
Thank
you so
you.
much. And thank you for joining us today on your Schenectady Local Business Showcase.